Hey, welcome back. In this video, I want to talk about the Labyrinth and everything we know about it. So the Labyrinth is going to be one of the future updates in Cyber 2. What it's going to be officially called, we don't know just yet, but there are a few hints of it, officially and unofficially. Now in this video, there are going to be a few slight story spoilers, so just be warned if you really don't want to know everything. Okay, so for those who know, under the Flutter Gordo and the Boom Gordo in Cyber 2, there is basically a cave behind them. And behind them, there's also this big circular shape. Now, this is essentially a gate. Now, what this gate actually leads to, we don't know. But if you actually check the nearby drones, the research drones from the adventurer that was here before us, well, basically, he kind of shares what it is. Now, I want to talk about the archived logs first for the very simple reason that these seem to be, older in the storyline, in the timeline of the story compared to the others. I thought I wasn't going to find a way into this place, but there's a huge hole in the wall on this end, big enough for an elephant to pass through. I think it's time I finally did some exploring inside this structure. So I believe this structure, this place is going to be the Labyrinth. This feels just like when I was a kid and I'd sneak into the woods. It'll be just me and my discoveries. I feel very good and excited. So basically here he's just entering the Labyrinth for the very first time. He's excited. Let's move on. Next up, we're going to read the archived log for the Labyrinth Gate in Amber Valley, so behind Boom Gordo. And here we are back at Amber Valley. The Labyrinth must wrap around most of the island. Geez, how long was I even in there? Next time I'm definitely bringing lunch and an extra fork. In any case, I need to rest up and head right back in there. This is starting to feel like a truly amazing scientific and historical discovery. I need to make some calls. Now, of course, the biggest interesting point in this entire log is, of course, the Labyrinth must wrap around most of the island, and he actually entered in the Starred Strand, but he came back in the Amber Valley. So essentially, if you actually take a look at the map of Cyber 2, so if you actually take a look at the map, so this would actually mean that you can actually just enter behind the Flutter Gordo into this area over here, and there is going to be a structure under all these clouds that hides everything away, and you could have this big door around it, and you would actually end up all the way over here. So that means we still have a huge hidden area in this game. So there are going to be a lot more zones. Now, while on the map, there's one more thing I actually want to point out before we go back to the logs. In Rainbow Fields, there are only 4 teleporters. 2 that you can unlock with the press of a button, and 1 that is hidden below the Ringtail Gordo, and the other the Tabby Gordo over here. So basically, you would actually come from your conservatory, you would actually take the teleporter to the Amber Valley of the Starred Strand, and you would actually have to move through the entire area to actually reach into the Labyrinth. And then let's move on to the research drone logs. So for the one in Starred Strand, the breach is so much smaller now, it fills me with hope. I remember when I first found it, I just walked right into the Labyrinth and I began exploring its endless grey halls, not even understanding what was really happening. But it's not so easy this time. Whatever I do, I need to shut the door tight behind me. I can't let it all happen again after coming this far. So first of all, this guy immediately knows a lot more about the Labyrinth. This is a lot later in his story than the archived log before it. Then, of course, he mentions the breach. Now, the breach is probably going to be, the thing that actually made the Starred Strand in 2 different colors. This is going to be the breach that is right now behind the Flutter Gordo if you haven't popped him just yet. And this actually happened because he went into the Labyrinth. He also once again calls the area the Labyrinth, and it has endless grey halls, giving us already an idea of what the future zones might look like. But it's that last paragraph that is really interesting. He had to shut the door tight behind him, not to kind of let something out or let someone in, and he can't let it all happen again. So at this point, I'm thinking maybe he just wants to prevent another breach. So this breach must be a bad thing and not only just change the color of the trees, for example. And then of course we have the research drone in the Amber Valley behind the Boom Gordo. This gate is still sealed too, so I really must have been the first to enter since it was abandoned. It was here that I had my first doubts. I thought I was talking to engineers, problem solvers, people who could fix what I had found. But once we left the Labyrinth and met up here, I saw they were smiling. They were excited for this side of opportunity. The company had sent their money people, not engineers. I don't think they had even considered stabilization. It wasn't long before it all collapsed. So honestly, this story must be really, really old because we actually have no sense of any type of industry making use of this labyrinth, or maybe any type of modern machinery can be found in the labyrinth itself, but on the outside we don't see anything. So either this happened a really long time ago, or all the machinery is kind of hidden away that we can't see it. But whatever happened, it wasn't long before it all collapsed, so it was a pretty bad thing. And then of course we have this little information that I actually already knew, but it comes from SR2 leaks. So basically over here we actually have the name of the two drones. First one is called the Strand Labyrinth Gate and the other one is called the Gorge Labyrinth Gate. So essentially meaning that those areas behind the boom and the Flotte Gordo are essentially going to be gates into the new zones. Now this information wasn't really necessary, but just for completionist sake, I do want to kind of share this because honestly it just once again confirms that these are going to be the specific areas that you can use to get to the labyrinth area in the future. And that's it, everything that we know about the labyrinth right now. Next up, you should probably check out this video out right here, but don't click on just yet. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on everything Slime Rancher 2 related. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there.